テレ東BIZ.
What is the current situation of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant?
Well, as for now, the most updated situation is that indeed Ukrainian troops have taken the control over Chernobyl nuclear power plant, as well as over the part of the exclusion zone itself, because Chernobyl nuclear power plant is surrounded by the exclusion zone, and the territory is huge of the exclusion zone is 2,300 square kilometers. So we are not sure yet that the exclusion zone totally is under our control, but talking about the nuclear power plant, we have Ukrainian flag on it.
The amount of the radiation has been changed, or getting more or getting less right now?
The situation with the radiation, that within the exclusion zone, the amount of radiation is the same. The question is distribution of radiation in the environment. So before the invasion, all of the radiation was on the ground, on the soil. And also it migrated a little bit into the depths of the soil. But then Russian troops came, and they're using heavy military machinery, and this heavy military machinery is lifting dust up, which means that those radionuclides that were captured in soil, they are now lifted in the air, and people who are there, they can inhale these radionuclides, and thus they can increase the dose that they are receiving. So on the last data, the latest data that we got from our remote radiation monitoring system, we saw the elevation of the dose rate from like 2 to 7 times if compared to pre-occupation time. It means that the amount of radionuclides didn't change, but the availability of radionuclides for human beings, for animals, it changed and it increased. And this will definitely pose the danger to the environment and also to people who will stay there.
There are several news reports which say that the Russian troops who occupied the plant may have been exposed to radiation. What do you think about this possibility?
I think that it is true. We were even trying to calculate the exact dose that Russian troops were exposed to. So as evidence say, people who actually stayed in Chernobyl for almost 1 month, for 600 hours, they know nothing about the radiation safety. So they were not using gloves, they were not using respirators. And it's quite obvious that they were not planning to stay in the exclusion zone. Obviously, the plan was that they will just penetrate the Ukrainian border through the exclusion zone, and then they will probably take Kiev within a couple of days. But in reality, our army managed to push down the Russian troops, and they had to stay in the exclusion zone. The reason why they even created the checkpoint and their block post was near Chernobyl nuclear power plant. So we think that this happened because the fact that Ukrainian army would never use artillery on the territory near Chernobyl nuclear power plant, because we don't want to contaminate the environment, and we don't want to pose any danger to our spent nuclear storage facilities. So it was safe for Russians actually to stay near the nuclear power plant and be sure that our artillery will never hit them there. And also there are some reports that they were staying, they were locating the troops on the most contaminated places in Chernobyl exclusion zone. It is so-called red forest. So we calculated together with my colleagues, we calculated the doses that were received by Russians, and even being the most conservative, we can say that it is, I mean, they got a huge dose probably, but this dose is not enough to get the acute radiation syndrome.
Recently, we heard that the working power station Zaporizhzhia was attacked, and that's the news we shared. And how about the other power station which is on work? Any recent information about those kind of other power plants?
Zaporizhzhia is the biggest nuclear power plant in Europe. It has 6 reactors and it's quite huge. So yes, it's been attacked, and right now it is under control of Russian troops. All of the other nuclear power plants, we have 3 more, which means that Ukraine have 4 power plants of 15 units, 15 working reactors. So our 3 other nuclear power plants, they are safe. Zaporizhzhia was taken on March 4th, and there were also information about Russian troops approaching to South Ukraine nuclear power plant, but luckily our military managed to protect it, and right now it's safe. And even Director General of the IAEA visited South Ukrainian nuclear power plant, which means that it is safe. Unfortunately, we have another nuclear facility in Kharkiv. Kharkiv is a city close to the border with Russia. So there is a research facility, neutron source, and it contains actually radioactive material, highly radioactive material. It contains sources of neutrons, and it is being constantly bombed. So in case if the protective storage of this research facility will be broken, we will have another leak of radioactivity, and it's located in the big city. It's more than 2 million of people live there. It's quite big for Ukraine because Kiev, our capital, is 4 million. So Kharkiv is the 2nd biggest city in Ukraine. So in case if the vessel of that research facility will be broken, it will contaminate a huge city. And we hope it will never happen.